Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here with another extravagant few minutes live here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page and 12 Ounce Sports. And as always, on our YouTube channel, which is, of course, 12 Ounce Sports, where we invite you to subscribe to our channel, where you can get all of our great content, all of our shows, including the Extravaganza with yours truly and Mitch Bernstein, and all of our extravagant few minutes. And again, coming up this fall, our 10th season of the ACHA Power Play. But before that, happy Thursday, May the 29th, 2025. Congratulations to all the Florida Panther fans and, of course, the Florida Panthers. Big win, Game 5 last night in the Eastern Conference Final. Third straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals for the Florida Panthers, and the sixth straight for a team from Florida, as they are definitely the hotbed in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. That is the state of Florida. Tampa Bay before that for 3 straight years, and now the Florida Panthers. And, well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like anything's going to stop them anytime soon, besides maybe themselves. Sebastian Aho got a couple of goals in the opening period yesterday to give Carolina a 2-0 lead, but then the Panthers struck with 3 goals in 2.5 minutes in the second period, including 2 in 30 seconds to grab a 3-2 lead. Carolina tied it up at 3, but then it was Carter Verhaeghe at 12:21 getting the game winner, the conference clincher, if you will, and then Sam Bennett with an empty netter to make it 5-3. So again, the Florida Panthers now will advance to take on the winner of Edmonton and Dallas. Game 5 of that one is tonight, 3-1. That's what Edmonton has for a lead as the scene shifts down to Dallas, Texas. Jake Ottinger looking to keep it going, get it going, I should say, for the Dallas Stars. Mikko Rantanen in the midst of a 7-game goal drought. He's going to try to get something going for Dallas if they want to go back to Edmonton for Game 6. Connor McDavid and Stuart Skinner. He's probably the star of it for Edmonton. 5-1 in his last 6 playoff games for the Oilers, as Edmonton looks to close it out, try to make the Stanley Cup Finals, to make it a rematch of last year. The Stanley Cup Finals, either way, will start next Monday. But Game 5 tonight in Dallas for the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars, with the Oilers a chance to clinch. In the NBA last night, unbelievable how bad the Minnesota Timberwolves looked against the Oklahoma City Thunder. 9 points in the opening quarter. They were down 33 at halftime. Not quite the 80-38 debacle we saw with Indiana and Cleveland, but I'll tell you what, it looked almost as bad. Oklahoma City rolled to a 124-93 win over the Timberwolves. So now they await the winner of the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Game 5 of that series is tonight down in New York, rather, at Madison Square Garden. The Pacers looking to seal the deal. And it's such an unusual series, unusual playoff in the NBA for these teams, especially the Knicks. They can't win at home, but they can win on the road. But they're going to have to win at home tonight if they want to force a Game 6 in Indiana. This is going to be a tough matchup, but something tells me New York may have a shot here tonight. It's going to be a good one. Madison Square Garden, the setting, the so-called Holy Mecca, the Holy Grail, the Mecca of basketball. That's Madison Square Garden. We'll see what they can do tonight in Game 5. But NBA Finals will not start until next Wednesday, regardless if the Indiana Pacers win tonight. So the Oklahoma City Thunder will get a week's rest, and should Indiana win tonight, they'll get 6 days rest before the finals start next Wednesday night. So again, tonight, Game 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. All right, quickly before we go to break, the Major League Baseball standings going into tonight's game. The Detroit Tigers with a 6-game lead after a 3-game sweep over the San Francisco Giants, 37-20. That's the Tigers. They're the best team right now in Major League Baseball. They've got a 6-game lead over the Guardians and the Twins. They've got a 3-game series coming up starting tomorrow night with the Kansas City Royals, who they have a 7-game lead over. So that'll be an interesting series for the Tigers. Then they go to Chicago to take on the White Sox before a big showdown a week from Friday against the Chicago Cubs at Comerica Park. That's going to be fun. New York Yankees, they've got a 7-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays right now. Tampa 1 game over 500. The Yankees now at 35-20 on the heels of the Tigers. And in the West, the Seattle Mariners, their lead is down to a half game over the Astros, as the Astros now 4 straight wins to climb within a half game. The Rangers are 4.5 back. In the National League, the Phillies also on the heels of the Tigers. They're 35 up and 19 down. They've got the best record in the National League. They got a 2-game lead over the Mets, 9.5 over the Braves. In the Central, the Cubs, we talked about them. They are 35 and 21, a 3-game lead over the Cardinals, 6.5 over the Brew Crew, who are now back over 500. And in the West, the Dodgers, they got a 2-game lead over the Padres, 3 over the Giants at 34 and 22. The Padres 31 and 23. And the Diamondbacks now have fallen 7 games back. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have today in sports history and our birthdays. But first, this message right here on an extravagant few minutes here on 12 Ounce Sports. Welcome back, everybody, to an extravagant few minutes live here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page, as always. All right, let's take an extravagant look at today in sports history on May the 29th. Back in 2010, Roy Halladay became the 20th pitcher to throw a perfect game with a 1-0 shutout win over the then Florida Marlins. Back in 1990, Ricky Henderson stole his 893rd base, breaking Ty Cobb's all-time record. In 1987, Robin Ventura hit in his 57th consecutive game in college, setting the NCAA record. And in 1984, the Red Sox retired Teddy Ballgame. Ted Williams is number 9. And in 1976, Joe Niekro hit his only home run of his career, ironically enough, off his brother Phil. And in 1980, Larry Bird edged out Magic Johnson as the NBA Rookie of the Year. Today's birthdays, Carmelo Anthony, he turns 41, hopefully getting a birthday present for himself if the Knicks win tonight in Game 5. Markelle Fultz, he turns 27. And Eric Davis, again, how is it possible? Eric Davis is 63 years old. Born on this date as well in 1939, Al Unser, and in 1938, who just recently passed away, former Major League Baseball Commissioner Fay Vincent. All right, that's going to do it for a look at today in sports history and today's birthdays. And that's going to do it for an extravagant few minutes. We want to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes, on your laptops, your iPhones, however you watched us around the world on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page and, of course, 12 Ounce Sports. All right, have a great day, everybody. And if I don't see you beforehand, have a wonderful weekend, safe, and have lots of fun. All right, this reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Thanks for joining us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page for another edition of an extravagant few minutes. So long.